All right, welcome everyone. Today is November 27th. This is Jonty. We're going into, I want to say this is probably week number 11 or 12 maybe of the classes. So these continue to be sort of an experimental class. We're trying to see what works, what helps. We're going to have a little bit of a different class format today. I'm not sure if we're going to do breakout rooms. But there's going to be a lot more class discussion. There's going to be a lot more class discussion. And I'm going to be doing a lot more practice with each one of you guys individually to make sure that we feel very comfortable with a lot of the verbs and expressions that we've been learning. Okay, so give me a moment and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on in the story. Let's do a quick review. Okay, so مخبارم يسو خجبز تقدي أش. Okay, أخجبزم ميس أخجبزم يتسر سبينش سبينة قلاتم يس سبينة قلاتم يس عار حكم مشاتا ديزنيلاند ثلاثرقم. Okay, Mr. Istanbul ثلاثرقم عاوزتمي حكم مشاتا على قرمي أقلاتم يس عرش عالم يوبسالة عرش عالم يوبسالة عرجير وينجلبزتشا وبسلفرة وينجلبزتشا وبسلفرة عالم جير حوا خجبزم جير سيتسر سبينش وختويتسر وستويتسر عالم جير سيتسر أسمانش سسيبلاغخم يديج سوكوا سسينبزوخم يديج حشابم سوكوا. Okay, that's the story. That's the story. And again, just to make sure there's no misunderstanding, there's a girl. Her name is Sabina. She's on a plane. She's flying to homeland. She's not flying to Disneyland. She's not flying to Istanbul. She's flying to homeland. She speaks to a boy. She says, "Do you speak English?" The boy says, "No." She says, "My name is Sabina. What's your name?" He says, "My name is Osman." She says, "I'm going to my family." He says, "I'm going to my friends." Okay, so one more time. Sabina washatim yis. Ar hukum mashata. Arsh alim yopsasha. Wa yinjilibzacha wopsashafra. Hawa. Sitzar Sabinash. Chet wawitzar. Sitzar Osmansh. Sasiblagachem yadej sokwa. Sasinabzauchem yadej hashapem sokwa. Okay, so this is the story. Before we get into anything, what I want is for each of you, in whatever you can say in Circassian, tell me something in your own words about this story. You can read what's on the screen if you want, but I'm going to prefer for you to try to think, and you can tell me things that are obvious, that are straight from the story, or things that are not obvious. For example, you could say, Sabina does not speak Circassian well because she's asking the boy if he speaks English. So you can tell me anything you want about the story. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how you learn. But the key is for you to think and tell me something about this story. Okay, let's start with Talha.
Can I choose this sentence or my own word?
ستري وزخوير قجاء.
Jebs Witzer Sabinash Sabina وكون شكم شكم وقوق Sabinash İncilip Zecim Jiakım Sabinash Kohlatem Yis.
Irikwa. Is that enough? Bucha.
Sharkım.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. So again, part of the reason we're doing this, I see from many of you that you have a lot of knowledge about this language, but putting it together in the right words, the right grammar, the right prefixes, this is very difficult. And this is unfortunate, but it's true. Many of us, when we speak with other Circassian people, they'll stop us, they'll correct us, they'll laugh at us, they'll make fun of us, and then this destroys our confidence and it makes us not want to try. Okay, so here, this is a safe place for everybody to try to think in the language, right? And when we're done, I will say with you what you tried to say, but I'm not going to stop and try to correct you while you're speaking, because that, it stops your thinking. It stops your thinking, it stops your train of thought, and it increases your anxiety and it lowers your confidence. Okay, so what you were saying is Khajab's guardi ash. We have a girl. Khajabzim yitzar Sabinash. The girl's name is Sabina. Khajabzir qulatim yis. She is on a plane. Ar khakum mathata. She's flying to the homeland. Ar yinjilibzcha mapsasha. She can speak in English. Maybe adigabzcha in Circassian. Abhudizu. She's not able to speak in Circassian that well. Okay, so that's some of what I was hearing you say, but you did a great job. And I know it's hard to be the first one to go, but you did a great job. So very good. Yemiz. Okay. Wari, you also. Zagwar, something. Wipsashacha, in your own words. Qja'a, tell us. Wari, Zagwar Makhabaram Tehuawa, about the story. Wipsashacha, Qja'a. Tell us something about the story in your own words.
Sabina Alakam Sabina Khajabs Sabina Khajabskam Yopsasha Sabina Shalam Yopsasha Sabina Mafagrum Yisakam Sabina Kwashata Yish Osman Nibjahwam Yadesh Hashapa Sokwa Sabina Blagacham Yadesh Sokwa. I guess that's it.
Okay, so you did very well. Sabina Yeblagacham Yadesh Makwa. Sasokwa Wowokwa Ar Makwa. Okay, but you did great.
Makwa. Anta.
You did great.
I see what you mean.
Ilgun.
Se sopr hıcebz gorem abu yitzer sabinesh ar hekum sheten quesh. A boy is sitting beside her. How can I say beside her?
Shale gorm.
Shallow gorem.
Shis.
Shish. Abu Yitzer Osmansh. Sabine asks, how can I say?
Sabina abi whoopser.
Sabine Abi Yugupcher, if he can speak English or not, how can I
So
say?
let's stick within what you know how to say, because the
Uh-huh.
goal is for you to think. So when we talk about fluency, okay,
Sabine says, how can I say? Sabine
Sabina
asks.
JR, Sabina
Sabine
JR.
JR وإنجليزية وبس الشفرة شعلة شعلر شعلم says
JR.
GR هوا GR سيتسر Osmanş sesi blağachem yadeş soqa or alem blağachem yadeş marqa Sabine nbjewchem yadeş haşape kwanquesh.
Very good.
That's all. Thank you.
Oh, you did very good. You did very good.
Thank
So
you.
just a quick note, when we talk about, I think everyone here, they have some goal of becoming fluent. So fluent does not mean that we know everything. No one knows everything. Fluent means that we can work with the words we have to say what we want with the vocabulary that we have. Okay, so I will help you if somebody says, how do I say this? But I want you, part of the goal here is to think within the words you know and to still get the idea out. Okay.
Okay, I see.
And let me give you a very simple trick. This is a very good trick. Okay. So that you can use this in almost any language, by the way. So it can be very complicated to conjugate a verb. Sasokwa, wowokwa, armakwa, sasakonos, arkonos. Okay, it's get sasakwas. Okay, sasakwat, right? So a very useful trick. I want to go. Sa sequenques, right? You can just take all these verbs. You can take all these verbs, forget about all the conjugation. Sa sequenques, right? I want to eat. I want to eat all the time. I want to eat tomorrow. I want to eat now. You don't have to worry about time. Okay. You can do it even in Russian. Я хочу есть, right? You don't have to worry about past tense, future tense, all these things. So there's a lot of ways that we can simplify what we're trying to say with the words that we know, with the grammar that we know. Okay. And everybody, if you can, please try to change your name so that it's the correct name. So we will go next to Dimaza.
De zhgebs di ash ar yitzer sabinesh sabiner hekum melate sabiner sabine zjalem mepsale arjalem yitzer osmanş Osman blağachem yadeş go
Makwa.
mako. That's
Okay, when you're done, say suchas. Suchas. I'm done. Suchas. Bucha. Dimaza.
baş.
Suchas. Kirill, I see you have a question in the chat. I want to make sure I answer your question. where are you reading? What's the, can you speak to us so that I can understand and answer your question?
In this picture on the screen, the last two sentences, they have a soque at the end, but the pictures are different.
That's just because I did not update the pictures. It's the same case. Soqua, I go, soqua.
So there should be a going one.
It should be a going one. Exactly. The picture needs to be updated. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Aliyah,
Да.
wichizuhwas,
Тъчба.
wichizuhwas. It's your turn. Rashi, zagwar wipsathacha, tja'am khabaram tehuawa. Tell us something in your words about this story.
Хъчъб сгуэр хъкъумылъатэ. Хъчъбзым и цӏэр Сабинэщ. Ар кхъухьлъатэм иш. Абы хьэуэ. Ар адыгэбзэкӏэ псалъэ. Щӏалэ гуэрым йопсалъэ. Мы щӏалэр и цӏэр Османщ. Ар благъэхэм я деж макӏуэ. Сабинэщэ ныбжьэгъухэм я деж хьэщӏапӏэм макӏуэ.
Didash.
Сухащ.
Khunshta. Pajujapash. Nilgun, I go, sasokwa. I go, sasokwa. I am going, sasokwa. It's the same.
Same thing. Yes.
Same thing. I am going to go. Now we're talking in the future. Sakwanush. Sakwanush. Okay.
Sure.
So is Lalina.
Дашит.
Харзinash, what it?
Сач Харзинаш. Хъджэб си цӏэр Сабинэщ. Сабинэ кхъухьлъатэм иш. Ар щалэм йопсалъэ. Уэ инджылызыбзэкӏэ ӏупсэлъэфрэ. Осман инджылызыбзэкӏэ псалъэкъым. Сабинэ благъэхэм кӏуэн хуейщ. Осман ныбжьэгъухэм кӏуэн хуейщ. Сохъуэщ. Сохъуэщ.
Suhash. Suhash. Tamamu jupash. Upso. Hamza, which is Zurkhwash.
So, okay. Khuhlatam zigwar khakum maslata. Yijiri khajab zigwar shalem zigwar psalakwa. Khajab zimitsir Sabinash. Sabinash shalem yopsatha. RJR sit wawitzer, khat wawitzer, shalem sasitzer Osmansh, shalem JAS. Sabina Argoro okay. Sa blagakam yadej sokwa. Khajabzim JAS. Sa nibjawkam yadej hashapa sokwa. Shalem jisas. Suha.
Khunshta. Upso. I see a question here about going to go, and Zalina's answer is correct. I just want to add to that because this can be a little confusing for some people. So in English, if I say I'm going, okay, I go to the store. I go to the store 3 times in the week. I go to the store sometimes. I go to the store rarely. I go. Sasokwa. Okay. Tomorrow, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go to the store. Verb conjugation in Circassian is very easy. If it's in the future, sekwanos. If it's in the past, sekwas. Seshkinos, seshkas. Sejenos, sejas. Sipsechenos, sipsechas. Right? It's pretty easy. But there's another period of time. Okay. So I'm going to go in the future to the store. I'm going to go in 1 hour. I'm going to go tomorrow. But let's say somebody, your mother is speaking to you, your husband, your wife is speaking to you. We really need milk. Are you going to go to the store? Are you going to go to the store? We need milk. I asked you 5 times to go to the store and buy milk. Okay, it's going to happen in the future, but the idea is that it's definitely going to happen. Okay, or maybe you've been, imagine you're in a home with somebody who speaks Adigabza, and we finished our tea. Don't worry, I'll go to the kitchen right now. I will go right now and I'll get more tea. So the difference between this is sasukwanos, I'm going to go. It's going to happen in the future. Sasukwanch, I will go. Both of these are factual statements, okay? But when I say I will go, it's a harder version of it. It's like there's no doubt. Don't worry, I'm not lying to you. It's definitely going to happen. But because it hasn't happened yet, it must happen in the future. Okay? Tomorrow I'll go. Are you really going to go? Yes, I'm going to go. It's going to happen. Is this concept clear? Okay. Ramsey.
So you guys are awesome. I missed 2 weeks and like I'm totally lost.
Okay.
And
It's okay.
I don't think I'm comfortable enough to like, because I can say all the words, but when I try to think it in my mind, I can't pronounce it well.
Okay.
And I can't read it well either. So I'm upset that I missed these classes because now I feel behind, you know? So I think I need to observe.
So this is a very important point, okay? Some people miss these classes because guess what? They have a thing called life and family and work, and that always is going to be more important than this, okay? So don't beat yourself up, Ramsey, that you have a life and a job and a wife and inshallah a baby who's going to be joining this world in a few months, okay? Inshallah. So don't be worried about that. And for anybody who's watching this video, if you miss a class, come. No one's going to judge you. No one's going to say, why did you miss a class? That's your business, not mine. All right, that's number one. Number two, Ramsey, I'm not going to force you to do something you don't want to do. I'm not trying to put you in an uncomfortable position, but there's a few things you probably can say.
Yeah.
And what I want you to do is come out of that defeatist mindset. You know, just tell me something. You know, there's a girl, she's on a plane, there's a boy, they're talking. Obviously, if they're on a plane, they're flying. Just give me 1 or 2 sentences if you can.
I can also draw the conclusion that Sabina Hokum Nalchich, right? That means that she's.
Yeah, that's a logical conclusion. So give me 1 or 2 sentences and whatever you want to say, that would be something you can say about the story.
Yeah. Chijebzum Yitzar Sabinish. Çalışitzer Osmanç. I'm not sure if it's Osman or Sabina that can't speak, but I'll say like Osman. Osman. Yeah. Yeah, this is where my tongue gets tied. Like, I know what I want to say and I can't say it. Osman.
Yinjilibzicha.
Inzi Libjit. Yeah, Inzi Libjit. I can't say it.
Yinjil.
Yiljil. Yinjil.
Ibzicha.
Ibzicha. Okay. Ilin Jib. Inlin Jibzit.
İncilibzece.
Inzi Libjit.
Okay, Ramsey. Yinjil.
Yinjil.
Yinjil. Okay. Yinjil means England.
Okay.
What's tongue? What's the word for tongue? Bzog.
Zog.
Güzel.
Okay, so language is bza.
Hmm.
Bza is language. Okay. Cha means using it
Yeah.
by way of. So bzacha is in a language.
Okay.
Yinjil is England. Yinjilibzacha in the English language.
Yinjil Libzacha.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Inyil Libjit. Libjitza.
Libce.
No laughing. No
Are you
laughing.
hungry, Ramsey? Yeah,
No, no,
good.
no.
Jilibza.
Mhm.
Inji Libzacha.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hey, there you
Yeah.
go. Inzi Libjitza.
Uh-huh.
Osman
Mhm.
Yinlin Yibzaja Wapsathaim.
Mhm.
Or is it Sabina that can't speak English? One of them.
One of them. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Keep going. Are you done or do you want to keep going?
No, I'm done.
You did a good job. You did a good job. You did a very good job.
John T.
Yeah.
I forgot to say something. Maybe I could say Osman İncilibzece psalefkim. Is that right?
This is correct.
Okay, thank you.
This is correct. All right. Thank you, Ramsey. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Hadi.
Sabinere, Osmanere, Osatem is Archekum Maqua. Sabinere, Osmanere, Nibjokam. Sabinar Osmanım Yopsale. Osmanım Yincilibzer Mopsalekim. Sitamamş.
Bucha. If I say bucha, it means are you done? And if you're done, you say suchas.
Suhaş.
Once. Burak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I will change the story.
Okay.
Şalem Yitzer, Osman. Osmanım Maşinem Yis. Osmanır Hıcebzim Yopsale, Hıcebzim Yitzer, Sabiner. Osman Adigabzece Mapsale. Osman Sabinem Yidej Magwa.
Tamamش. Bucha.
Squash.
Okay. Musa. Which is Zurkhash. It's your turn.
Qohlatem zikhigebzgor yis abizar Sabinas Sabina hekum Meshata Qohlatem zishale yis abizari Osmas Osmanere Sabinere ziragatsu zirzim yazar yaubs Osman İngilizce bize pselle farkım ama adiye bize mepsale Osman yiblağa hem yadey maqwa Sabine yinibjaw hem yadey maqwa
Wait, Musa, sigura what nakhaf wabsater sinakhra.
هوا نقف سبسلف ماما س قاجم سقشخاس سيانه يادر اديس قاجر اديه تما كيكس قاجس تركي تساس ابي اديه بزجي كودوز دخسكاس هوا ديش دي سابيوغام تركي بزجي تيبسلاس هوا يعني background is good no problem.
Yeah, Wofu did the wabsatha. I said to Musa, I think he speaks better than I do. So,
No.
Yeah, you speak very well. You speak very well.
Thank you.
Satanai, Hubarak.
Yes.
Chizur Khwash.
Okay, I stop. Khijabzim yits Sabinash. Ar wakhlatim yish. Ar abi بلاغهم يدج سقوة أرش عالم يبساخة ش عالم يتسأل عثمانش أر أبي نبزاوخهم يدج something سقوة
Khons.
Okay.
So you guys are doing very well. Okay. There's a couple of minor mistakes that I see, a few that are common across all of you. So, and don't worry, we're going to do a lot of practice in today's class. We're going to get very comfortable with this stuff. All right. So first, I don't normally go deep into grammar, but I am going to give you guys a little grammar trick. Okay, so I heard some of you say khajabzir. I heard some of you say khajabzim. The correct is khajabzim yitzar Sabinos. The girl's name is Sabina. Shalem yitzar jantish, right? Whatever, right? So here's a little trick. Now, before I tell you this grammatical rule, one thing I want to tell you, it's good to know the rules because it helps you understand why something is a certain way. But research has shown that trying to use grammatical rules while you're speaking is terrible because it slows down your speech and you're translating in your brain. And then as the other person is speaking to you, you're doing a translation or you're practicing what you're going to say next using these grammatical rules, and you don't have a good conversation. So just be careful about how and where you use grammatical rules, but this is a very helpful one. It helped me out a lot. Circassian has something called the ergative case, okay? And only about 18% of human languages have the ergative case. We treat direct objects and indirect objects differently, right? So the way to think about it is, in English, if he is doing something, it's he. But if it's him that I give the book to, we say him, right? So we change he versus him depending on whether he is doing the action or he is receiving the benefit of the action. If I give him the book, he is receiving the benefit of the action. If he is reading the book, he is doing the action, right? We all understand this concept. In Circassian, we have a little bit of a different concept. If the verb is transitive, if the verb can deliver action to something else, okay? So for example, let me think. Sasokwa. There's movement in that verb, but it's not a transitive verb because I can't walk. my action of walking does not make something happen to something else. But if I say sasoja, I'm reading, I can read a book, I can read a poem, I can read a newspaper. So my action of reading can affect something else. So in this example, sasokwa is not transitive, but sasoja is transitive. Okay, so if the thing doing the verb, if the verb's transitive, the thing doing it ends in im. Okay, so Shalir yoja, the boy is reading. I'm sorry, Shalim yoja, the boy is reading. Why? Because reading is a transitive verb. Shalir makwa, the boy is going. Why? Because going, it sounds weird. It's not a transitive verb because going does not affect something else. Okay, so that's just something to put in the back of your head. Also, if the verb, I'm sorry, if the thing receiving the action is the indirect object, it'll also be in the ergative case if it's the indirect object. Okay, so you could say, for example, Shalim khajabzim tithir hoja. The boy is reading the book to the girl. Right, the girl's the indirect object. That's just something to have in the back of your head. The other thing that I see people having a little bit of trouble with is this salas, right? So I heard a lot of people say salas yitzar wasmans or khajabs yitzar sabinas, right? So we typically only add this us at the end of the sentence. And we only add it at the end of the sentence if we're making a statement, right? So, of course, if I say, Shalim yitzar wasmansh, right, that's a statement. And of course, it is a boy, that is a statement, but I put the ush at the end. I put the ush at the end of the sentence, right? So there's no situation where I would ever say, Shalish yitzar wasmansh. It just wouldn't work that way. That's just two things that I heard people struggling with a little bit, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna go to, let me find it. We're gonna go to page 12. Everybody can see my screen? Yeah, everybody can see my screen, I think. And what I wanna do here is I really want us to play around with this psasha. All right, what I'm trying to teach you guys is enough that you guys can speak to native speakers and say useful things like, I don't understand. Can you speak more slowly? So that you, or right, so that you can start to ask questions that will allow you to teach yourselves, right? That's what I'm trying to give you guys. So one of the most common verbs that we use is psasha, to speak, all right? So we're gonna go over this and we're gonna play with this a little bit. So here, first we have the statement form of this verb, all right? So, sasopsasha, I speak, sasopsasha, zizamizasopsasha, sometimes I speak, sitamdeji sopsasha, I speak all the time, I speak, okay? And then if you speak, wopsasha, you speak, wopsasha. What tamemu wopsasha, you speak well. Wafadidu wopsasha, you speak very well. What dawansha wopsasha, you speak flawlessly, okay? And then he, she, or it, ar mopsasha, ar mopsasha, ar mopsasha. Now, if we're going to ask this in a question form, now it would, this is a weird thing to say, but sometimes when my kids are ignoring me, hey, sasapsashara, am I speaking or am I not speaking? Do you guys hear me? You know, sasapsashara, am I speaking? But this is how we would ask the question. A more common, whoopsashara. So imagine you see somebody, they have the earbuds in their phone, from their phone in their ears, and you see them going like this, maybe their mouth is moving. Are you speaking to somebody? Okay. And then maybe there's somebody over there. Is he speaking? Is he speaking to somebody? Is he speaking? Okay, so these are the question forms. What we're going to do here is we're just going to play in this class a little bit with these verbs. All right, and I want everybody to feel very comfortable. And then once we get a little bit of comfort level with these verbs, we're going to make them a little bit fancier. The thing that is a little unique to Circassian is our verbs are very complex. And the thing that trips me up, because I'm not a native speaker, and the thing that I know trips up a lot of learners, many of you, are all of these prefixes, right? So I heard, for example, say, Sabina Sokwa. So what you said there is Sabina, I go, right? So these pronounal prefixes, they are a little bit difficult for some people sometimes. So this is what we're going to spend our time talking about in this class. We will do some breakout, but this is where I want everybody to get very comfortable with these verbs. Okay, so let's start with Yamiz.
Sit.
Yamiz, subsashara.
Sa subsasha.
Wa wopsasha. Sari subsashara.
Wa wopsasha.
Sa sopsasha. Wa wopsasha.
Da.
Wopsasha. Sabina psashara.
Ar mapsasha.
Arma psasha. Arma psasha. Dala. Everybody turn off your mute so that we don't lose a lot of time with people. Just everybody turn on your mics. Everybody's mics should be on. Okay, because I'm going to jump around a little bit. Dala. Sasipsashara. Sasopsasha. Wawupsashara. Sasopsasha. Wa adigabzacha wupsashara. Wupsasha adigabzacha. Wupsasha adigabzacha siapash.
Bravo.
You do speak in Circassian.
Yes.
I know, but I want to say that.
No, this is this is a lie. What adigabzacha wupsasha. Okay, Kirill.
Okay.
What wupsashara?
Wa wopsasha.
Paj sa sopsasha. Sa sopsasha. What?
Subsasha.
What wupsashara?
Wa subsasha. Wa wopsasha.
Paj, I speak sa sopsasha. What? How about you? Wupsashara.
Yes, subsasha.
Ah, wupsasha. Wa turkibzacha wupsashara.
Turkibsacha subsasha kum.
Ah, what turkibzacha wupsashara. Wa wurisibzacha Russian, по-русски. Wa wurisibzacha wupsashara.
Rasibzacha subsasha.
Tamam. Nilgun. Sa subsashara.
Это вопсаша. Фу.
Wupso. Khajabzim sashara.
Хджебзым мапсаша.
Arma psasha. Wari wupsashara.
Сери сопсаша.
Sit khoda bzemcha wupsashara.
Се сопсаша. Rusibzeke. Adigabzeke. Grechibzeke. Injilibzeke.
Wow. Ya'ataqabj. Adigabzacha. Yinjilibzacha. Turkibzacha. Урыс бзычӏэ?
Гречи бзэчы.
Сыт хуэдэ?
Greek.
Гречи бзычӏэ? Гречи бзычӏэ? Псори зыхэту бзитх уопсалъэ. Бзитх уопсалъэ. Ар куэдщ. Уэ полиглотщ.
I tried.
MashaAllah.
Масалах. Димаза. Хэт мэпсалъэ?
Ve vopsalhe.
Сэ сопсалъэ. Сэ сыт хуэдэ бзэмкӏэ сопсалъэ?
Sımıje.
Адыгэбзэкӏэ сопсалъэ.
Nıte. Ve adiyebzece vopsalhe.
Уэри уопсалъэрэ?
Nıte. Seri sopsalhe.
Сыт хуэдэ бзэмкӏэ уопсалъэрэ?
Adiyebze sopsalhe. Adiyebzece sopsalhe.
Мы хъыджэбзым псалъэрэ?
Nıte. Mıhıcebzım mepsalhe.
Сыт хуэдэ бзэмкӏэ псалъэрэ?
Seri
Мы хъыджэбз. Сыт хуэдэ бзэмкӏэ мэпсалъэ?
Adiyebzece mepsalhe.
Адыгэбзэкӏэ мэпсалъэ. Тэмэмщ. Алия.
Can I ask
Yes.
something?
Yes.
If we want to say future, ses sopsalhanush, our ses sipsalhanush.
Сыпсылъэнущ.
Because speak means sathan. That's right.
Yes. So psalhen doesn't change. In the present tense, so psalha. In the future tense, psalhanush. And then if I say past tense, sipsalhash. No, sepsalhash. Sepsalhash. Yeah.
Okay.
Musa, you have a question?
I have a question. Speaking is transitive word or intransitive word? Because both is, for example, I speak. This is I speak. I speak to you. So intransitive and transitive both. Se adiyebze sopsalhe. Se abi sopsalhe.
But you're the one speaking, so it's still. The short answer is it's intransitive. Yeah, it's intransitive. Because by speaking, you can't speak. When you read, you can read a book, right?
Yep.
When you eat, you can eat food.
Yep.
When you speak, you don't, I mean, you could say I speak a word, but we don't say that really. We say I speak. So it's intransitive. It's intransitive.
Speaking is intransitive.
Intransitive.
But speaking to something, to somebody.
It's still intransitive.
Geçişli geçişsiz fiiller.
Şöyle, yani konuşmak geçişli mi geçişsiz mi?
Yani bir şeyi konuşmak derseniz geçişli olur çünkü nesne alıyor.
Tamam, yani onu demek istiyorum. İkisi de olabiliyor, duruma göre
Olabiliyor, evet. Yani nesne alıp almamasıyla alakalı sanıyorum.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
In Russia, speak and say, well, in Russia, speak and say, it's a little different, Kirill. In Russian, я скажу, я говорю. So they're actually, as a non-native Russian speaker, I think of them as different. Я скажу, я говорю, right? Я скажу тебе новости. I'm telling you the news, right? Я говорю по-русски, например. I speak Russian. It's similar in Circassian.
They are direct, both, I think, in Russian.
I don't know, you know better than I do about Russian, but in Circassian, we would say, sopsathen means to speak, sopsatla, je'en means to say, and je'en would be, I think je'en would be a transitive verb. again, these are just little facts to put in the back of your head. I don't want to get into a big, because everything with grammar, you can always find something somewhere that breaks the rule that you're trying to learn. So these are more like helpful facts as opposed to big discussion points. But you ask a very good question, Kirill. Psathen means to speak. Je'en means to say. It means to say. Okay. All right. So who are we going to go to next? Aliyah.
سجانتي
وبساطة.
هوا سبسالة
وبساطة. وماكر زخزوخ سسوسو وبساطة.
هوا
هوا. الشيكورة. خجبزر بساطة.
انت ار بسالة
أرما بساطة.
انت ارما بسالة
أرما بساطة. ست كده بزمج أما بساطة أر.
ار أدغبزة إنجلبزة بسالة ما بسالة
ما بساطة. ما بساطة. و ست كده بزمج أو بساطة فرا.
ورسبزة إنجلبزة فكونيتو I never know how to say that. Lithuanian.
Sorry,
Litwamcha, bzemcha, takunitu.
عندي قبزة. عندي قبزة. أراشي بسوري زخطو و بزيبل وبساطة. بزيبل وبساطة. لالينا. سس بساطة.
انت نوو بساشر
سس بساطة. مخجبزري بساطة.
انت ارم بساشر.
أرما بساطة. أرما بساطة. ست خود بزمجة سسو بساطة.
انجلبزة أدغبزة ورسبزة
ورسبزة إيه تك على ما نبزجة. على ما نبزجة سو بساطة. I speak German too.
Okay.
Yeah, Nemitz. If you're from homeland, you say Nemitzibza. If you're from diaspora, you say Alamanibza.
Okay.
So, whoopsa, Galina. Hadi.
Sit.
Khat mapsasha. Khat yijibstu mapsasha. Sarash. Sarash. Sasopsasha. Aha, Arashi, Arguaru, Snowupsnos. I'll ask you again. Khatmapsasha.
Wopsasha.
Sasopsasha. Pej. Wari, Wopsasha.
Da. Seri sopsat sopsatla. Seri sopsatla.
Wari Wopsasha. Khajabzri psat. Khajabzri mapsasha.
Da Jebzir mopsasha.
Khajabzr mapsasha. Sit khoda bzamcha. Sopsasha.
Aj adiyebzemce mopsasha.
Sari sit khoda bzamcha sopsasha.
Oh. Wa adiyebzemce İngilizcemce Rusibzemce and Alamanibzemce Wopsasha.
So we can just stick to one language, whatever we're speaking right now. Okay. So, but you did very well.
Yes.
You did very well. Musa.
That's it.
Sasosha Wopsasha. Sasosha Wopsasha. Our what's it with the this will be fast because I know you know all these things. Khat Sasha. Иджыпсту. Сэ сопсалъэ. Сэ сыт хуэдэ бзэмчӏэ иджыпсту? Сыт хуэдэ бзэмчӏэ сопсалъэ?
Адыебзэмкӏэ опсалъэ. Адыебзэкӏэ опсалъэ. Адыебзэмкӏэ опсалъэ. Дэтхэнэрэ нахь пэжыр?
Адыгэбзэкӏэ. Адыгэбзэкӏэ. Адыгэбзэкӏэ.
Опсалъэ.
Хъунщтэ. Сатанай, хубрак. Иджыпсту хэт мэпсалъэ?
Иджыпсту упсалъэ.
Сэ сопсалъэ. Уэри упсалъэрэ?
Нтӏэ сэ супсалъэ.
Уэри упсалъэ. Хэт мы хъыбарым ису in this story, мы хъыбарым ису хэт мэпсалъэ?
Сабинэр мэпсалъэ.
Сабинэ мэпсалъэ. Иджыри сэ? Who else?
Осман мэпсалъэ.
Османри мэпсалъэ. Пэж. Хамза. Иблагъ сакъуаш. Сэ сыт щӏэри иджыпсту? What am I doing right now?
Уэ упсалъэ.
Сэ сопсалъэ. Уэри упсалъэрэ?
Нтӏэ сэ сопсалъэ.
Уэ упсалъэ. Алие псалъэрэ?
Хьэуэ. Али мэпсалъэкъым.
Али псалъэркъым.
Псалъэркъым.
Хъунщ. Бурак.
Сыт?
Хэт мэпсалъэ иджыпсту?
Опсалъэ.
Хэт псэлъа ипэкӏэ? Who spoke before?
Хэт
псэлъа?
Хэт псэлъа?
Who spoke? Hamza. Hamza psэлъащ. He spoke. We drop the m when we go into the past tense.
Okay. I see. Hamza адыгэбзэкӏэ псэлъащ. Is it true?
It's true. Yeah.
True. Okay.
It's true. Залина си шыпхъу си жагъуэ зэрыхъунщи зыгуэр шыуагъэ хэтщ уэ зэрыптхар мыбдежи.
It depends the context again.
Yeah.
I just was trying to write that. Зэлъыта Сабинэрэ Османрэ унэм мэкӏуэж. Sabina and Osman. If we say Sabine, Osmania, Adыгэщ. Osman and Sabina both Circassian. So it can be different. That's I was trying to type.
So there's three ways.
There was another one.
To say and. If you are connecting nouns, Sabinara, Osmanara, Jantira, Zalinara. Okay, this is how we connect nouns. You can have an infinite number of nouns, and every noun will always end in ra, even the last noun. Alira, Wasmanara, Jantira, Hamzara. Even the last noun is going to end in ra. If you want to say and also, Jantiri, Zalinri, Yemizri, Aliri. Okay, so the ra becomes ri, and it means and also. Okay, it means and also. If you connect verbs, because verbs are always contiguous because they convey action, you can only connect verbs using ri. Okay, let me think. Sa se genshri, say well.
Sa se genshi sera kojin.
Yeah, so you would only, but you only put the ri on the, you don't put the ri on the last verb.
Ichi jitahono. So, sejench, ichi, iji, snewajinch.
So this is the third way to do it, okay? And this is more of a literature way of doing it, but you can use it in speech. There is a standalone word that means and it's yichi, yichi. I don't have a Cyrillic keyboard right now. Zelina, if you can type yichi into the chat. So yichi, you can use this for anything. It's not so common to hear it in spoken speech for everything, but you can use it for everything. But it's a little bit more formal, right? But you can only use this for adjectives. Okay, so Sabina tzuks, yichi ubzagos, right? Sabina is small and she is smart. So there's three ways to say and. Ra for nouns. Ri for nouns means and also. Ri for verbs. Yichi for adjectives. Don't worry about the complexity. As you see these, as you see examples, you'll understand. Yichi, thank you, Hamza. Okay. Yes, Musa.
Hamza, sorry, I just messaged to Hamza instead of everyone. So he helped me out. Thank you. So,
No worries.
I can give an example. Ri, كوي شيء رقح قحوة رقح كوي
sorry,
رقح
what?
كوي شيء رقح
Yeah. Go get the
Riri,
he and also the shy. Yeah.
شيء رقح
Sit to where? Share, hammer up. Sherry, both.
Yeah.
You can say also shay squish, yiji squish. So it just depends how you want to say something.
شيء سكويس كويس كويس ري روما ميخونس مخرة.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like a lot, but it's just like in English. I'm gonna go, I'm going to go, I will go, you know, how are you? How's it going? How's it hanging? What's up? What's new? These are all ways of saying hello, right? So, okay, Satanay. Did I speak to you, Satanay?
Yes.
Yes. Hamza, did we speak? Yes, you know, I spoke to Hamza, then I spoke to Burak. Pekan, Temerkan.
Sid.
فتقوم شش خد بسالتنو.
Sara.
ورا خنشتا يجبستو خد بسالرة.
ورا.
سراش سبسالر. انت سبسالر. خد كده بزمش سبسالرة.
أدغبزجن.
وري أدغبزج وبسالرة.
انت.
وقشري بسالرة. حوا صدق حاجة وش ترى وست كده بزمج أو بساخرة دو يجري سا سا أديجابجة سو بساخرة فاج بوخا اوكي سوخاش لماذا خد oh we spoke you and I didn't we
I don't understand.
Did we speak before? Did we do this little exercise together? Yeah, I think the pictures moved around. Samira. Сахар Egyptsto.
Нота се сопсахе.
ووبساخة أراقم سنوبشار خط مبساخة Egyptsto. خط.
Se أديبزجة سopsахе.
You يجريشا خط. Who else?
Huh?
So you speak Circassian, yes. I ask who's speaking Circassian. You speak Circassian. Girisha?
Where adigebze yapsashe yici Sabine adigebze mapsashe mopsashe mapsashe
Mopsasha. Mopsasha. Okay, very good. Who knows? Now we're gonna make this a little fancier. Okay, we're gonna make this a little bit fancier. Everybody feels comfortable. Mopsasha. Wopsasha. Ar mopsasha. Okay. Arpsasha. Wopsasha. Sasapsasha. Right? We feel comfortable with this. So who knows how to ask if we're able to do something? For any
Go.
not able to.
With fe.
Yes. So to add anything, to ask if you're able to do something, any verb, we add fra. Opsafra. Wushkifra. Are you able to eat? Wushkifra. Are you able to eat? Wopsafra. Are you able to speak? Washatafra. Are you able to fly? Wowijafra. Are you able to read? Whatchifra. Are you able to write? Okay. So when I ask you, Adigabzicha, Wopsafra. Are you able to speak Circassian? Are you able to speak Circassian? Right? So we can use this in lots of different ways. And we use this, Arpsafra. Is he able to speak? Wopsafra. Are you able to speak? Sasapsafra. Am I able to speak? I don't think I'd ever. There are ways to ask if I have permission to speak, but that's not how we would really ask. So that grammatically that exists, but in the real world, we would probably never say that. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, Zali and I, is she still here? Are you still here, Zalina? Okay. Okay. She and I are going to model what I want you guys to do in the breakout rooms. Okay. I'm going to give you an example, and we want things to be very simple. Okay. I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the breakout rooms. But what I want you guys to practice is what I'm going to practice with Zalina and I. So I will ask Zalina questions, and then she will ask me questions. Okay. Zalina.
Жанти, намыцэбзыкӏэ упсэлъэфрэ.
Са намыцэбзыкӏэ сопсэлъэф.
Фыдыдэ. Шэшэныбзэкӏэ упсэлъэфрэ.
Хауа сэ шэшэныбзэкӏэ сыпсэлъэфыкъым.
Шэшэныбзэ чэчэн.
Yeah. So before we go into the rooms, what I'd like to do, I apologize that I don't have a Cyrillic keyboard today. On slide 12, does anybody, Zalina, do you have a Cyrillic keyboard with you? Can you drop into slide? I'm going to share this in the group chat so everybody has it. Can you drop into this slide? It's number 12, and just put Safra. What we want is the question. We just want these two forms so that the people can reference this when they're practicing.
1 sec, I'll just need to open it.
Sure. Thank you. You know, while she's doing that, so that we don't lose time, I'm going to ask each of you. No, I want each of you to ask me if I speak Circassian. And I'm going to use another word. Anywhere on slide number 12. Wopsafra. sopsalaf. And then add the word belk in there. And
tak?
also add the word belk and add the word and just put tum so people know. Because what I hear a lot, I see people say that, and this is incorrect grammatically. Okay, so I want. Go ahead. Okay, yeah, okay, you know what? Drop it into the chat and I'll paste it. Okay. So Nilgun.
John T. Where whoops the chefre?
Sadok sopsalaf. Nilgun. Adigabzicha whoopsalafra.
Nuta se adigabzicha sopsalaf.
And you can say tok sopsalaf.
Tok sopsalaf.
Aliyah. What adigabzicha whoopsalafra?
Так сопсалав.
What is you ask me?
Janti. What Arabibzaja whoopsalaf.
Hawa sahar bibzicha sopsalafaqam. So, by the way, I find myself modifying a little bit. How do I explain this? There's a little bit of a gap between how people write and how people speak. I speak the way things are written. I say everything. So if you, sometimes you're going to hear me say, I'm going to put R's in there because that's how I normally speak. Very few people say that in everyday speech. If you write it, you'll say but they'll just say they'll just drop the R. So if you hear a little bit of a difference, just know that's just a little bit of a variance in the way people speak versus the way they write. Thank you, Zalina. I'm going to drop this now into the chat, into the screen. Give me a second. Okay.
Tak you can put in the beginning or in the end, doesn't matter. Tak sopsalaf, tak.
Okay, everybody can see this?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to stop the share. This is in slide number 12. Okay. I'm going to open the rooms up. And like I said, keep it nice and simple, just exactly the way that we gave you the examples. You can say, what adigabzicha wopsalafra? What turkibzicha wopsalafra? Hawa sipsalafrqam. Anta sopsalaf. Right? Whatever you want to say. And I'll drop into some of the rooms to help you guys out. So I'm going to pause.